Deadlock is the talk of the town right now. Everyone and their mother is playing it. It's weird since it's a closed beta, yet it's the second most played game in history, having 14 billion concurrent players, right next to Conquered, which had a peak player count of 6 trillion players. People who play Overwatch are interested in Deadlock. People who play League of Legends are interested in Deadlock. People who play Counter-Strike are interested in Deadlock. Even the comfy cozy VTubers are trying Deadlock out. I went over to my grandma's house, and she was playing Deadlock on her Steam Deck. This is just the life cycle of the new stimulus game though. It happened with Helldivers, Palworld, Chained Together, Only Up, Lethal Company, you name it. Some of the games that I listed are just streamer slop, and some of the games are actually high quality and deserve that popularity. Deadlock is one of those games that deserves its popularity. I'm not sure the world needs a new hero shooter MOBA thingy, but it's innovative enough that it does deserve to exist. One of the biggest things I like is how laning works. If you've played a MOBA before, you understand how you farm creeps to get money and then buy items. In League of Legends, sometimes you're sitting there zerking off for 10 minutes, just last hitting minions and doing not much else. But in Deadlock, it's got another added layer. After you kill a creep, a soul orb floats out of it that either team can shoot. If you shoot it, great job, you secured yourself some extra money. If the enemy shoots it, then he just stole 20 bucks from you. It becomes a really in-depth game of positioning as well as smart management of cooldowns and your ammo. Say you're playing Paradox, you can use your first ability to clear the waves really fast, but in doing so, you're spawning more soul orbs than you could secure all at once. So in a way, it de-incentivizes people from mindlessly shoving their waves and then fucking off to another lane. Not that it isn't viable, but it's just not the de facto best strategy at all times. Sometimes you have to reload early because even though you only shot 10 bullets, you could see you're not going to have enough bullets to secure all the soul orbs afterwards. Additionally, you can position yourself a bit more aggressively in order to melee the creep, which leaves you susceptible to taking a good chunk of damage, but it secures the orbs instantly without the opponent getting any chance to deny it from you. This makes laning extremely engaging with multiple options at all times, bundled with the already insane amount of options that a MOBA in a 3D space offers you. This also makes laning a bit of a personal experience too. I can't tell you how many times I've grown to resent my lane opponent just by the nature of them denying my creeps. It feels like they're directly stealing money from me, and I don't like that. And since they're coming for my money, for my bread, then that just makes me want to put them in the dirt. It fosters a very competitive environment where you just want to beat your opponent so badly. I had a game versus a warden where his character has an ability where he marks you and it creates a radius. If you fail to leave the radius in time, you get stunned for just under 3 seconds. There are items that can make the stun time longer, the radius that you have to leave larger, and he can augment his stun where when he applies it, it slows you. So in some scenarios, you just feel completely helpless, and it can cause you to get very, very frustrated with some players just for utilizing the game mechanics. There are so many items that can do so many things. There's tons of creative options. There aren't too many characters that are restricted to a specific class or build like, oh, you're a tank, you can't build damage items. The items are super flexible, there's lots of options, but I think that's just because the game is new right now. There's no set lanes, there's no dedicated supports or junglers or carry characters. Not right now. I'm envisioning the game having a similar fate to Overwatch. On launch, you could just do whatever you want, even if it wasn't optimal. Eventually, however, people found ways to optimize and suck all the fun out of the game. Just by the nature of the competitive game, people will figure out how to play in the most optimal way. Same thing is gonna happen in Deadlock, whether you like it or not. They'll figure out the best items to buy in order to win, regardless of how fun it is to spend 3,000 points to buy an item that completely blocks all physical attacks because fuck you specifically, you cannot play the game. You've got a lot of mobility? Fuck you, item that stops you from using movement abilities. It's like counter picking in Overwatch, except it's counter itemizing, which is at least better because in Overwatch, you can win your first fight and hold tab and watch the entire enemy team in real time swap their team composition to fuck you over. At least in Deadlock, it's gonna take until the 15-minute mark until they can start building items that invalidate your entire existence. While we're making the comparison to Overwatch, one great thing that Deadlock is going to have going for it is Steam, specifically the Steam Workshop. Overwatch has their own workshop that always felt like wasted potential to me. Blizzard should understand the missed opportunity of not giving the Overwatch community mapping tools, or like modding tools in general. I love me some Mercy parkour in Overwatch. Letting people make custom Mercy parkour maps or Lucio surf maps feels so obvious that it's almost laughable. You have such a strong cast of characters with unique abilities that could breathe a ton of life into custom games. People could download the game just to play their favorite minigame, like how people will boot up Counter-Strike just to surf. Dota had auto chess, which is next level irony because Blizzard had Warcraft 3, which players developed a mod called Dota, which eventually got picked up by Valve. Then Dota 2 had a mod called Auto Chess, which was adapted by Riot Games and turned into Teamfight Tactics. So now, Blizzard has to steal something from Riot Games in order to bring it full circle, except Riot Games doesn't allow people to mod shit because they're a bad company. That was a long-winded tangent just to say that Deadlock has a promising future. They've got the benefit of the Source 2 engine, full dev support from Valve, and you know this motherfucker is gonna get impregnated with more skins and loot boxes than you can wave a hat at, whatever that even means. I just hope the skins aren't detrimental to the readability of this game, like League of Legends has. Pop quiz for all my League players, whose ability is this? Is it A, Lee Sin's Q, B, Lux Q, C, Rakan Q, or D, Morgana Q? Trick question, it's Veigar Q. Exactly. That isn't to say that this game is the most readable either. Sometimes you get spotted on the minimap while you're hiding on a roof out of sight and you don't feel like you did anything wrong, and now the whole team is on your ass. Sometimes you don't see the giant solar flare that is a 7 ult that is now covering the entire area of the map, because you're trying to do other things and you only notice the sound effect or the gray screen you've been met with afterward. Along with different abilities being affected in different ways based on the items that you buy, the game becomes a lot less predictable, which is both good and bad. Items can do everything, and items can counter everything. Stuns can vary from 2 seconds to like 5 seconds, which can then be refreshed with an item in order to hit you with that 10-second no fun allowed combo. And those are all things that one player alone can do. While we're talking about items, let's just talk about how many different inputs there are in this game. So for movement, you have WASD to move, space to jump, shift to do a little dodge roll, and control to crouch. That's a lot of options. Now, you can dodge roll into a jump, which you can also chain into a slide. By the way, you have infinite ammo when you slide. You can also double jump. You can also dodge midair. You also have a melee on the Q key, which you can use to hit enemies. You can choose to charge it for a heavy attack or press it for a light attack. Of course, with a melee, you have to have a parry button, which is on F. Don't forget, R to reload your weapon manually. Your weapon, which you use with left click, you can also aim down sights with right click, but some characters like Yamato and Shiv have different uses of their right click. We haven't even started talking about how you have 4 different abilities and 4 item slots, which a lot of the items are actives. It's not only possible, but it is even likely that you will have 4 different active items at some point. One such active item, Majestic Leap, throws you high into the air, which you can then press again to quickly move towards the ground, which you can cancel with a jump, which will give you a lot of horizontal distance. That is at least 20 different inputs that you can and will use while playing the game. I mean, I counted WSD as 4 inputs, but still, I'm not counting like a double jump as an input. I'm just counting like jump, duck, whatever. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing. In fact, I find the movement to be quite rewarding, and despite the complexity, it's not that bad. However, I really struggle with the items. I imagine Dota players will feel right at home though. I mean shit, they have Blink Dagger, they have Refresher Orb. This game just screams Dota, and it kind of confuses me on like, why make Dota again? You guys already own Dota. I don't know, I guess it's like, why would the devs of Risk of Rain want to make Risk of Rain 2? Because Risk of Rain 2 is sick, and it iterates on the first game in meaningful ways to make it unique and improve on the formula. just ignore all the most recent stuff with the DLC. Like, let's pretend all that stuff didn't happen, okay? Another comparison that I can make is that I enjoy Apex Legends, even though that game isn't the most accessible. Between the game's intense aiming and the freedom of movement, it feels like a playground, and Deadlock can feel the same way. There's so many ways you can choose to play the game right now, which is why I think you should try this game ASAP. I don't think it's gonna last too long. Like, the timer has already started on Deadlock. We're currently in the honeymoon phase, where everyone is having fun learning everything, but the arms race of guides and builds and websites that show analytics are already well underway. They're actually already here. If you have any interest in this game, you should play it right now before it's cooked. Like, I just don't think it's gonna stay fun, and I don't know how much longer it will be fun. I can already feel the frustration of the MOBA crowd seeping in. We're in a fucking beta, and we have some really insufferable people.
Yo, Calvin has AIDS, and so does the 7.
Death, my friend.
These guys are cringe. Should let them win.
Shut the fuck up. You're so retarded.
You should let them win, bro.
How are you this fucking bad at the game?
You're 5'2" in real life, bro. You should look at my match history. I got 50 kills a game. I beat my girlfriend.
I had a game where I got first blood on my lane opponent. He accused me of cheating and just left the game. I had a streak where there were 3 games straight where somebody just left the game. Like, I could not play the game for 30 minutes despite being in the game. There are so many levers, so many toxic dickheads, it's crazy. I can tell we're gonna get to a point where it's expected of everyone to be sliding around the towers in order to take advantage of the infinite ammo just to squeeze in some extra shots and not have to go through the downtime of reloading. It's gonna get to that point eventually, there is no doubt in my mind. I'm getting ahead of the hate train. I don't even hate the game. I think the game is good, but I am pessimistic about this being a game that I stick with for any amount of time, and I think a lot of people are going to be in the same kind of train. Like, I think it's cool that there's huge changes going on constantly, like the map changes drastically each update, and there's all these different things going on that I'm not even like in tune with. Like, there's probably like, oh, fucking Haze got a nerf on our damage, or like Viscous got a buff. I don't know. It feels like this is gonna be a game that you have to go all in on, or you're not gonna have that much fun with it. It's like being an athlete. The best time to start doing a sport is right now while you're young, cause I don't know many 40-year-olds who are just starting their football careers. I swear, like, everybody who is into Dota has like 2,000 hours. There's no in between. You either have 3 hours, you tried the game, decided, it's not for me, or you have 2,000 hours. As for Deadlock, do I think the game is well designed? In some aspects, it's like phenomenally designed. Zip lines are great, laning is great, the aesthetic is interesting and has its own appeal. There's also permanent buffs that you can find around the map by shooting pots, so there's always something to do, which is great. But should you play the game? If you can, I would try it right now. And is this a game that you should play in a few months from now? I don't know, like maybe. Right now, I'm kind of enjoying it, but I can feel myself getting more and more frustrated with the game the more that I play it. I don't want to be frustrated playing video games. I just got done doing an entire Apex Legends Nuzlocke challenge thing, and that was frustrating enough. In Apex, I get frustrated because I clearly underperformed, and I know I could be playing better. Sometimes in Deadlock, I'm like, oh yeah, I got stunned 3 times and died. Fuck everyone involved in that. They're unloved, unskilled, and they should all feel bad about themselves. They didn't do anything wrong, they're just playing the game. Sorry, correction. I got rooted, suppressed, slowed, disarmed, and stunned, all of which are different things, but all of which also feel bad. Do I think the game should change? Do I think items should be weaker? Should CC be toned down? I don't know. The balance isn't perfect. I'm sure people are gonna find things that are busted, but right now I feel like it's surprisingly well balanced. There's not any characters that I think are worthless. I've seen every character be effective in ways that, you know, I would not expect. There's items for everything. If you're getting stunned too much, you can get stun resist. If someone is healing too much, you can get healing reduction. If your father left when you were young, you could buy one. If someone is too tanky, you could steal their maximum HP and give it to yourself. If their items are fucking you over, buy an item that stops them from using their item. It's just items, 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 farm creeps to get items, destroy towers to get items, kill enemies to get items, melee the orbs after you kill the enemies to secure the items, I mean the orbs the orbs to get the items, buy items to kill enemies, to buy more items, to get stronger, and I just need to get a little bit stronger. I just need to get my slowing items so that I can guarantee my stun, that I made longer with my items so I can kill them with the other items that I bought. I just need a little bit more money. I just need a couple more items. I just need to go clear these creeps to get money, and while I'm here I might just farm these camps to get a little bit more money, and then I can stand over the dead guy to collect his money, take it back to the base, buy an item while I'm in my lane. Where the heck is the courier? I need my item right now.
Hey man, you good? You look really stressed out.
Yeah, I just need to go back to base. I mean, I just need to go home. I'll talk to you later.